Good morning. My name is Ty Naylor. I am the IT Marketing and Training Administrator here on campus, and today I have Andrea Grover, our Information Security Manager on campus. And today we're going to be working on our Information Security series, and we're going to talk to you a little bit about the Information Security Policy.
That's correct.
So I've heard a little bit about this. Can you tell me a little bit more about the Information Security Policy?
Sure. The Information Security Policy is a policy that we've created that helps to define how we protect data on campus.
Okay.
So this policy applies to all resources on campus, so any users, data, anybody who's using any of the data. I mean, this just applies to any data we have on campus, whether it's paper or electronic based. So a lot of the policy deals with something called sensitive information. That's really what we're trying to protect. And sensitive information is information that is protected either by law or that the university has deemed that we need to protect. And we have a large list of what those are on the Information Security Office website. But some of them would be things like social security numbers, credit cards, student IDs, but also passwords, date of birth of the students and employees. Things like that are also important to protect.
Okay.
Things that we do actually release to the public would be things like employee salaries, employee email. And those are things that we still protect so they don't get changed improperly, but we do have more of an open policy on sharing those.
Okay.
So some of the things we're going to go ahead and start into the policy. So the policy is broken into many different sections, and one of the sections is like confidentiality, privacy, on how we handle the information. So users are responsible for maintaining the confidentiality of the data they access, but they're also responsible for making sure that they protect it adequately. So they make sure that any data they do release is released in the proper manner.
Okay. So if you gather information from students, their social security number or anything like that, it has to either be protected behind a password, deleted.
If you're collecting social security numbers, which you shouldn't be, we try not to collect information that is not necessary. So there are certain instances where you do, but if you don't have to, don't. So usually you collect the W number. That is one of the big things in the policies, only collect the information that you do need. One of the things too is if you're going to store it locally, it's only for the time that you actually need it, and that it has to be encrypted or protected. So encryption is the way we prefer to do things, and if you need help with that, you can contact the service desk.
Exactly. And one of the things too that people don't know on campus is, again, we talked about Box, but Box has an encryption part into it as well. So if you're not sure if something's encrypted or not, Box is a great location for it, and you can go to Box to do that.
That's correct. There are certain things that we cannot store in Box, and at this point that would be like HIPAA protected data, which we only have a couple areas on campus that use that, but we need to make sure that we actually have the protections in place for those. So as of right now, we don't do that.
Okay.
One of the other things we discuss in the policy is access control, and this is making sure that the people who have the access to the data are the right people. So if you are required to access data, make sure that you are only accessing the data you are required to have. So that's just one of the things. And then part of the access control is making sure that you're protecting that data by using your own username and a strong password. And strong passwords are passwords that are a minimum of 8 characters. They have an upper, lowercase, and then at least a number. And we also, as part of our password policy, actually can do symbols now.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And then also one of the things with passwords is make sure any passwords you do use, they are different than your personal account. So if you have a personal email account, do not use the same one as your Weber account.
It's always smart to do.
Yes. And then sensitive information, also make sure if you are keeping it in any sort of copy, so paper or electronic copy, that you keep it in a secure location. If you have it on a portable device or any paper copies, make sure that you leave them locked up. They're not just sitting around on your desk or anything.
And many of us have those USB drives or other things, or portable hard drives that we have attached to things to back things up. So it's always good to put them in a locked folder.
Right, and then encrypt portable devices
as well.
That's an important thing to do. With your passwords, also make sure you keep them safe. Don't share your passwords with anyone. We do have instances where people try to share their passwords with family members or anything. Do not do that. This is your Weber password. It's accessing our data. Enable on your computers, as part of the access controls, you need to make sure that your computer, when it times out, it needs to time out within 20 minutes of not being used, and that you also have it password protected when it comes back on. This helps us to protect the data, so if you leave your computer, somebody can't come in behind you and use it. And a good practice is to also manually lock your computer. So in the Windows, you can use the Windows key plus L. I'm not sure about the Mac though. I think
lock
you
it
have
down.
to do a hot key
Yeah.
on that.
Yeah, you can set up a hotkey to lock
Right.
it down that way.
Physical security. So this is one of the other things. We've talked about this in a bit. You do need to make sure you secure any data. We've talked about that already. And then sensitive information. I mean, this we've already discussed. So if you have portable equipment or other things, you need to make sure that they're properly secured and encrypted.
Okay.
And we've already discussed this, that all agents, employees, anybody who's using university data is responsible for it. Let's see, data security. So all computing systems must be protected with antivirus. And by protected, that means that they are running antivirus scans.
Okay.
So
Not
it's
just
not
there.
just installed
Oh, okay.
and not just updating. So it does need to update, but it also needs to run.
Okay.
And we do have a schedule. So when you install the antivirus product, it actually should run on a scheduled basis.
So how do I know if a virus scanning is actually running? So do I notice that something happening? Is it something that I talk to my IT person in my local area to see when the schedule is? So
you can actually look, if you click on the icon for the antivirus that you have on your computer, you can actually see what the schedule is.
Okay.
Some of the schedules you can actually modify, some of them we actually have set, but your CT, like if it is like interrupting your business, things get slow or something, you can actually talk to your tech person in your area and they can help you like work with our information security analyst and he can help you adjust that.
Perfect.
One of the things that we do on campus also is we have incident response. So if you are suspecting or you actually know that some data has been compromised, you need to report that. And you don't wait. You report that as soon as you suspect something has happened so we can actually go in and investigate. And you will talk to your data security stewards. And on this presentation, there actually is a link to where the data security stewards for each area are.
Yeah.
Sharing sensitive information. If you do need to share any information outside of the university, employees, you need to make sure that it is protected with a contract.
Okay,
so legal needs to review that. You can't just share it and create a contract yourself. It actually has to be reviewed by legal. Software. This is always a big one. So any software you have on your systems must be licensed. It can't be something that you've just gone out and downloaded or gotten a pirated copy of. It has to be something that is properly licensed. So it could be open source, which does have a license that allows you to use it. But then there's applications such as like Malwarebytes, and Malwarebytes we cannot use for an enterprise installation.
Okay. So if you have questions, so again, let's say you come into a system that has a bunch of software on there and you have questions about it, who's someone good to contact about that?
You could probably talk to Louis Aponte. He's our information security analyst, and he's kind of in charge of the software at this point, but he's a really good contact on that. Yeah.
And we'll make sure we get you the right licenses for it.
That's right. And then if you have more questions or anything, a great place to check is the policy itself. So, and that's located on the PPM on Weber.edu under policies, and it's policy 10.1 for the information security policy. There is a lot of the requirements that we have on campus also come from the UC Board of Regents R345, which is the Information Technology Resource Security Policy, and that link is available on this presentation. And then the Information Security Office is always available for questions.
Excellent. Well, that's the nice thing about this is that we have people on campus that can help us with these questions. Coming onto campus about a year and a half ago, I did have questions about what kind of software is available and what kind of things do I need to do to protect my data. And we have a great information security office, and so I highly recommend if you have questions, feel free to reach out to them. We have the website or the email here at it's iso.weber.edu.
It's actually security@weber.edu.
Security@weber.edu. Perfect.
Right.
Well, thank you, Andrew, very much for coming in here today. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.